So, Grayzone Warfare had a preview event this week in which they invited a bunch of streamers to test out their new patch called Winds of War. Big thanks to Madfinger Games because they hooked me up with access to the playtest even before the patch officially drops. Patch 0.3 Winds of War is probably the biggest update yet for Grayzone Warfare. The previous patch, which brought us the day and night cycle, was huge, but this one really builds onto it and focuses heavily on PvP, making those engagements way more dynamic. Honestly, this patch feels like a big step in the right direction, really making Grayzone Warfare stand out from all the other extraction shooters out there. Don't get me wrong, the core gameplay loop is still solid. Unlocking new traders, weapons, and gadgets remains a cool progression system, and honestly, the questing here is far more immersive than in most other games with a genuine storyline that gradually reveals the area's secrets. However, at its heart, it still often boils down to the typical collect X items or place a tracker objectives you find in any extraction shooter. But this new patch, it completely transforms the experience by adding a whole new layer to Grayzone. First off, they added a bunch of new weapons, attachments, and armor. We've got this cool MCX rifle, an MP7 for those close quarter fights, and even a couple of new pistol variants for the Beretta and the Colt. They also reworked the AI, making them way more reactive. Now they actually check their wounds, they limp if they're injured, and even react to flashbangs and grenades. Plus, there are some new locations on the map, and they've reworked the scope so they feel natural and responsive. Huge quality of life improvement right there. But let's talk about the real game changers. On top of the day and night cycle we already had, they've added a dynamic weather system. We're talking strong winds, visibility reducing fog, and even rainstorms. This seriously complements the previous patch because when you combine overcast skies with evening or night, it gets pitch black. You're forced to use flashlights or MVGs, which just adds to the immersion and tension. Probably the biggest gameplay loop they've added is the new PvP zones and the Combat Outposts. It actually layers a whole new gameplay loop on top of the existing questing. These new combat outposts are scattered all over the map, usually around main objectives. And here's the cool part, you can attack and defend these points. Once captured, they serve as respawn and restock points. This is massive because you don't have to run all the way back to your main base to restock or access traders. To capture one, you have to eliminate all opposing faction members, whether they are AI or players, and then interact with the laptop. These points are perfect to have under your faction's control when you're questing. You can run to them way quicker than flying back to base, or even worse, not even making it because the landing zone is camped by some tryhard. It's really cool. I've personally had some incredibly intense fights over these forward operating bases. It's not uncommon to see all three factions clashing over these small strategic objectives. I remember sneaking around one base at night, actually hearing the enemies coordinating their plans inside the building while other factions tried to snipe them from the surrounding fields. The nighttime engagements were particularly memorable, using MVGs to attack, then quickly ducking back into cover just to mess with the defenders. And teaming up with random faction members to capture these points, always a blast. Now, I think it still needs a little bit of work. The faction AI spawns are instant when the spot gets captured, which I think could use a little bit of cooldown. It's a super simple process right now, but I guess it's a good start. They definitely need an under attack status that prevents defenders from accessing their stash or vendors, because I once completely exploited this by buying and throwing ridiculous numbers of grenades to hold the spot, which feels broken. And honestly, the respawn should have a timer that goes up if you keep dying on this point. Now these are just minor tweaks to make it even better, but it's a good start and definitely a step in the right direction. These kind of things can always be adjusted later on. Another massive change is that PvP engagements are now marked on the map. So if PMCs are attacking AI in the combat outposts, or if players are just shooting at each other anywhere on the map, you'll see a giant red circle on your map. This is huge because you can be doing your own thing, questing, and then suddenly see a fight popping off nearby and go join your faction. It really encourages other players to jump into the fight. Finally, there are some really solid gameplay and quality of life improvements, like task management on the field. This is huge because now you don't have to run all the way back to the base just to interact with task givers. You can manage your tasks out in the field and keep the momentum going, which also means you don't have to take that annoying heli every 10 minutes. Another is squad-wide elimination task progress, which is super cool. Previously, you had to wait for a boss to spawn, and I remember taking turns with my friends on killing that first marketplace boss just so we can all get the mission objective done. Now, with squad-wide elimination progress, everyone in your squad benefits, which is a welcome change. Another huge game changer for squad play is being able to drag friendlies. This needs to be in every tactical shooter, in my opinion. If you're playing with friends and one of you gets knocked out in a firefight, you can now drag them to safety before patching them up, even while still under fire. So yeah, patch point 3 Winds of War is bringing some seriously good stuff to Grey Zone Warfare. What are you excited to try out? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want to chat with me or other members of the community, or even play a few games together, be sure to join my Discord server. Or you can also drop by my Twitch live streams. I usually stream 2 days a week, and Grey Zone Warfare is definitely back on my radar. I can't wait to hang out with you all. Thanks again, and have a great day.
Oh shit, 345, 340 in the bush. 330.
Shot at the wrong flash of gunfire.
Oh my god.
How you doing so far? If you're in danger, don't say anything.
Back it off.